Hi guys, it is Miriam Pearson here from Sweet Creations. I'm just making some little leaves here for a project that I have coming up, and I just wanted to show you how I make them. It's just using a very simple, the twiddle technique. Some of you will have tried it, I'm sure, and I just thought I'd share with you how I make them. So very simple tools and equipment. I've got these beautiful Cotinus veiners. They're from Liz Unglis at sugardesign.co.uk. Really fabulous quality veiners. That's the veiner that I'm using for these. I've got some rose leaf cutters. I use these in a couple of sizes, 3 centimetre and 4 centimetre, thereabouts. Each square on this board is a centimetre, so it's nice and easy to kind of measure your work. So a couple of sizes on the rose leaf cutters. I use corn flour just in a pop sock is normally what I use there. Rolling pin, standard. And then I'm using some bright green coloured paste. You can either make these, of course, in cold porcelain or in sugar flour paste, so whatever you want to use. Nice and bright green. Use your gel colours to colour up your paste. Normally I colour the paste about an hour before I want it, so that it's had time to develop. The other thing that I use here is I use 26 or 28 gauge wire. For this size leaf that I'm making, a 28 gauge is perfect. If you're going larger, if you're going on a larger leaf, you want to use a slightly heavier wire, just so as it grips and it can hold the strength of the paste that you're adding. So that's kind of very, very basic equipment that I use. All I do to make these leaves, take a little bit of corn flour, spot that onto your board just to stop any of the paste sticking. Depends on the conditions that you're working in, of course. If it's very humid, you might want a little bit more. Some people grease the boards with Trex or Crisco. You can do that, of course, as well if you want to. So just pin that right out. And I'm going fairly fine on these, so your leaves obviously want to be nice and fine, just to give them a more realistic look. I take my cutter then. So I'll just make a couple of leaves here so you can see the technique repeated a few times. This is the twiddle technique, nothing new. It's probably one of the original kind of techniques for wiring leaves and petals, but I just wanted to show you very quickly, if you haven't tried it, how you do it. So I just cut my leaves out, making sure that anytime once I'm finished that the cutters are cleaned down so that the paste doesn't stay stuck in them. What I do then is I take one of my wires. The length of wires I've cut in about 4 or 5. So the length of wire I have here is about 8 centimetres, thereabouts. I twiddle the paste onto the wire. So basically with my lead hand, I rock between my thumb and middle finger. With my left hand then, I hold the wire steady so it doesn't move. And as I twiddle, I work my way up along the length of the wire just to coat it basically in paste. With the heel of your hand here, just give that a little roll so it's nice and smooth. And then I don't normally use glue unless I need to. And because this paste is nice and fresh, if I actually turn this over, it will be fresher on the other side. It generally sticks without the need for any glue or any water. By all means, use edible glue. If you need to, you can absolutely use it. So we go the same again. Twiddle up, so rock back and forth. My left hand here is holding the wire steady. Rock back and forth and work your way up along the wire. And then to smooth that out and give me a nice even finish, I just roll it on the board using the heel of my hand. Turn my leaf over, place the wire down so that the bottom of the twiddle is at the bottom of the leaf. If you need to use glue, use it very, very sparingly, because when you come to dust and colour your leaves, if you've added too much glue on, you end up with dark patches on the leaf. So same again, twiddle back and forth and work up along the wire. Okay. Now I often do pop up these videos on my social media, so be certain that you follow at sweetcreations.ie so you'll see them coming up on fairly regular basis. Glue that on there. And that one is ready, and we'll just do it one more time just so you see it. If you're not sure where do you actually start the paste on the wire, you can take your cutter and you know you want it maybe about 1/3 or halfway. So I know then I need to start my paste here and I'll rock back and forth. You don't want it too long, but doing these here, because this is for a display that's going to have to travel by air, it's for a display piece that I'm making. I am making the twiddle nice and long just that it's nice and strong for me. Turn my leaf over, place my twiddle onto the leaf. So in effect, what you've done here is you've created that vein that a veining board would create in your leaf if you were using it, but not everybody has the veining board. What I do then is I take in my corn flour and I just very gently just tap both sides of the leaf in the corn flour. You can dust the veiner as well if you want to. I tend to do it this way, just that you're not lifting on and off the whole time. Place it into your veiner, press the top down on top then, and it gives you those lovely veins. So this one, as I say, is from Sugar Designs, the Cotinus veiner, Cotinus. This is the extra small size that I have here, and it's from Liz Unglas. Then what I do is I just give that a little bit of a curl, just using my hands as a pincher, my fingers as a pincher, a little bit of a curl there, make a hook on it, and I'll hang that onto the rack then to dry. So I always... sometimes I'll use bumpy foam, but generally I tend to hang them on a rack because the gravity will hold them in place. Okay, so we just repeat again. If it sticks on your veiner, give the veiner a little bit of a squeeze and it'll usually release it for you nice and easy. Small bit of a curve. I'm curving there where the wire is at the back of the leaf as well. Hook on your wire and hang that onto your rack. So you can make these quite quickly. If you get into a rhythm of it, you end up, you know, do conveyor belt, and you can make them quite quickly. Don't press too much down along the center where the wire is, because it can then cut through the paste. A little bit of a squeeze and lift that off. If you're finding the paste is sticking quite a bit to your veiner, you might want to just use a little bit more corn flour, or you might want to grease it with your Crisco or your Trex, just to stop it sticking basically. So press that down, and again a little bit of a squeeze. And what I do normally is I'll make all my leaves today, and then tomorrow I can dust and glaze and assemble them into stems. So very, very quickly you will get yourself a whole rack of leaves that are ready to dry. I have a couple of different colours here just for the projects that I'm working on at the moment. So that's it, guys. Just want to show you very quickly. It's the same technique if you're making petals. It's the same technique if you're making leaves. It's called the twiddle technique. So very, very popular technique for it. If you want any more of my demonstrations or classes, be certain to follow me on social media at sweetcreations.ie across Facebook, Instagram, Pinterest, any of those places. And I do quite often put up these little demonstrations. I do have some online classes as well on my website, which you're very welcome to join, my flower club or any of the individual classes that I have. I shall post a picture when I start to dust these and colour them, so you can have a look at that as well. Thank you so much, guys. Stay well. Bye-bye.